Today we are outside of the studio and we are visiting CrossFit Windhoek, sold out on Life, and we are talking to the head coach of this box, JP Camm. Let's go. Today we are visiting the CrossFit Windhoek sold out on Life gym. We're talking to head coach JP Camm. JP, welcome. Oh, well,
thank you very much for
I'm
having me.
visiting you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, I thought we'd start off with a good base. So
Yes.
what would you tell someone is CrossFit all about if they knew nothing about it?
Well, if they knew nothing about it, it says like we move in anything, through everything, with everything we have. What that means is it can be anything from a body weight exercise to weightlifting to gymnastics. But what it really is about the community that's involved, the support systems surrounding those communities. So everyone shows up every day, shuttle from the world and do what they can for that specific workout. And it's different every single day.
And this is a sport that has become really popular globally, and especially in Namibia in the past few years.
Yes.
In your opinion, how did this sport develop in our country, and how are athletes developing in this
Yes,
this
back
sport?
in 2013, Max and PD actually started CrossFit 264, plus 264, and then we eventually built off from there. So obviously when we started, there was not much interest. It's something new. To compare with sports like rugby and soccer in Namibia, it's kind of difficult because you don't have the exploitation of the sport and the resources to explore it to that extent. But over the years, I can say it's really grown because where we started and how many events we are having now every year, it's really exceptional. Yes.
And a lot of people are scared or uncertain to start with CrossFit. I
Yes.
think many people have the impression that it's really difficult and really
Yes.
tough, which it is.
Yes.
But how would you encourage someone to start?
100%. I think people, there's a lot of videos on the internet, and people always see those videos. What do these elite athletes do? But in all, elite athletes in CrossFit is about 10% of the community, and 90% is the average person that comes in here, and that's what we should look at. I mean, you could take what you can do and physically apply that and grow from there.
And
Yes.
globally, it's a real community. People,
Yes.
you are like in connection with CrossFit across the world. Like
Yes, 100%.
How does that happen?
Yeah, so when you open up a CrossFit gym, you basically apply for affiliation. So our headquarters is based in America, and you apply for affiliated box, and you give in your name, and then you become part of the community. And obviously, you get support via programming, online support regarding how do you handle your finances, coaching to a deeper perspective, and all of that.
And in COVID especially, people
Yes.
started online participating in international competitions.
Yes.
How did that work?
Yes, I think in COVID everyone was backs was against the wall, and then we had to do what we had to do. So a lot of online events and competitions started, online training with classes, coaching. So I think that was a good thing, and to some extent. But nowadays people want to be more remote than also be on site. So it's a win-lose situation, I would say. But a lot grew from there, 100%.
And how did you start?
How did I start? So I was an auditor, believe it or not. And then one day I was just fed up, and I stood up and I said, I'm done with this. But in my life, I was always very active with sports, and I was also a karate sensei. And that's actually where it started, where I was working with people. So back in end of 2015, I started with Max and PD back in 2013. But then I wanted to branch off and started with some community where I can grow something. So I started here back in 2016. So I'm actually, now I'm here 8 years, and this place has been open for 10 years.
And you're here every day. How many hours are you in here?
Sure, all of the hours. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to say. Some days are longer than others, but like the Mondays and Wednesdays, I coach about 10 classes a day. Tuesdays and then Thursdays, it's 7 classes, and outside of that, there's obviously other things that's happening.
And weekends too.
Yeah, and weekends too. And a class is about an hour, give or take.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of hours, so you really can't say. So basically you stay here and you sleep at home.
Yeah. And you've always been at this box?
No, we were all initially part of the umbrella, under the 264 umbrella, and then after that, they branched off and they opened up this box. Hanley and Victor and Estelle and Gunther, Ida, Johnny, there were a couple of people. Back in 2014, September, they opened up this box. And then eventually from the other boxes started opening. There's two at the coast, Skeleton Coast and Swakopmund, then one in the north, Chumep.
And how many in Windhoek?
Two currently, 264 is not affiliated anymore, so it's just us in Damascus. Damascus also opened up after we opened up.
Okay, so how many in the whole country?
How many in the whole country? So, look, if you regard all of them as CrossFit boxes, then you have to also look at the affiliated status of them all. So we are 2 in Windhoek, we are 2 at the coast and 1 in the north. At the moment we are just 5 as far as I know, but obviously there can be room for more. We were 7 up till recently, and because you have to pay fees yearly and all of that, and admin.
You do a lot of things with the other boxes, like your events and throwdowns?
Yes, 100%. So basically every 2 months we come together. Doesn't matter if it's here or it's at the coast or to the north. We come together as a community, everyone. And we just
there's no competition. You guys would go to Damascus and Damascus will come here.
Yeah,
on
there's always competition, always. Yeah, everything is a competition. So we have set events in the year where each one has their throwdowns or events or competitions, call it as such, where they organize these. But every now and again there's something special, like for example at the end of the year we did the 1,000 step-ups for suicide prevention, and Damascus started this initiative. So then we would all come together, maybe at their place or at our own places, and we would make videos and share these, so we would still be connected in some other way.
Working together for
yes,
cause.
100%.
That's nice to see. I think this is a sport that has a lot of spirit, a lot of fight, as you say.
Yeah.
There's always competition, but you do come together, which is nice to see.
100%, yeah.
After the break, we're going to chat a bit more about this box, especially, and everything that you can do here. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We're still here with JP. So JP, this CrossFit has a lot of classes.
Yes, 100%.
How many classes a week?
So from Monday to Friday we have 3 CrossFit classes each morning from 5 o'clock, 6:15 and 7:30. Then we have 3 in the afternoon from Monday to Thursday, 3:30, 5 o'clock and 6:15. Then in between we have other classes as well. We have high intensity interval training, we call it HIIT, at 6 a.m. in the morning, 1 in the afternoon and 5:30 in the afternoon, except Fridays, no 5:30 slot. However, on Friday 5:30s we have something what we call weights and place. So it's a bit of an old school gymming process, and then afterwards we light the fire and have a social, which is very nice. And anyone's welcome to that. So you don't need CrossFit experience to do that. Anyone can do a bicep curl, for example.
Okay.
So it's stuff like that. And then we have specialist gymnastic and weightlifting classes as well, specific related to CrossFit itself. Throughout the week, from Monday to Thursdays, it's 1 in the afternoon or in the midday, and then 3:30 on Fridays. Saturdays only 1 in the morning at 8. And then we also have kids as well. Mondays and Wednesdays, 2 o'clock and quarter past 2 and 3 o'clock.
Oh, and the kids are what ages?
So at 2:15 to 3 o'clock, I do 5 to 8 years old. And then 9 to 13 years old, I do from 3 to 4.
And those classes, what do you focus on?
So we basically focus on the foundations or the fundamental components of fitness. So we have cardiovascular endurance, stamina, power, speed, accuracy, agility, balance, coordination. I think there's 3 more. So you basically play a lot of games, but you incorporate exercises like balance, like stand on one leg, jump to that spot, throw the ball there.
So it's not only if you want your kid to be a CrossFit star, but
no, it's more like general fitness, like fitness development overall. So it's not specifically CrossFit related with the kids. So obviously they grow from the to a point where we say if you want to go any further, then they join the adult classes, and then we take it from
And
there.
that can obviously help them in tons of other sports as well.
100%, yeah.
So this place can get really crowded.
Yeah, it can really get crowded. Yeah.
How many coaches are you?
We are 9 coaches in total, including myself. All of us, we go through a process where you get certain levels and certifications where you go away and you study and all of that. Not all might have a certification at a certain point, but or a certain level that's the same to one another, but each one is different and each one can specialize. So we have coaches that has additional nutrition courses which we guide, we have our members guide them, or they give guidance to our members in that essence. And then we have coaches that have additional strength knowledge and certifications which can help guide our members in a different way again. So there's a general CrossFit cert, and then obviously you branch off from there.
And that's an important thing with CrossFit, is
Yes.
that most coaches should be certified.
Yes,
That you
100%.
should know what you're talking
Yes,
about.
yes, 100%. Yeah, and then obviously, like I said, you should keep up to date with times, and constantly there's challenges coming up. You see, as soon as you've learned to skip a normal rope skip, and there's something new coming out, so you have to stay up to date with the trends.
Yeah, and that's global trends. That's not,
No,
you guys
100%.
aren't making these things up.
Yeah,
Someone
100%.
else is.
Some people will think I make them up, but yeah, it's actually stuff that happen out there. But some stuff you do make up, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's a global trend. Like that's what I told you earlier. Sold Out stands for something, and then actually the U in it stands for universal. So we are universal in that aspect, where we focus on just not locally, but the community in a universal aspect as well.
On that point, what's
Yes.
your goal here? What do you want to achieve?
So to change lives, I would say, look, it can go a long way, and it's a very deep question actually, but at the end of the day, you would want to sit back and say, like, you made a difference, a positive difference in someone's life, and they can go out and make a difference in somebody else's life. So it carries over, there's a repercussion. So at the end of the day, you need to be sold out on life in an essence, on everything, not just spiritually, but also emotionally, physically. So what you do inside here should carry over to your daily activities to obviously operate at your full capacity in the best possible way you can.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, JP, so much for telling us more about CrossFit and CrossFit Windhoek Sold Out on Life, this gym specifically. Now we're going to play around a bit. JP is going to show us some typical CrossFit movements, and yeah, we'll see how that goes.
All right, so we're going to look at some wall walks, and then I'm going to explain to you how we're going to do them, and afterwards, Kristien and myself, we're going to do a couple of synchronized. It's also a common thing in CrossFit. We move together, we breathe together, we die together, and then we live together. All right, so wall walks, basically you're lying flat on your stomach and you walk all the way back with your feet going up the wall and back down again. The basic steps is you will lie flat on the floor like this with your hands underneath your chest. You would then pike up with your feet, first the one leg, then the other leg. Then your hands would walk backwards. So your chest to your nose to the wall, and then you would walk forwards again.
You're getting pretty close to that wall.
Usually there's marks on the floor where your hands need to pass and all of that before your feet may drop from the wall. But for the sake of keeping it simple, you're going to just do them that way. But before we go any further, she has to show us what she can do.
I'm going to do it with you. Okay, let's go together. I'm good.
Okay, first pike up. 1, 2, and then we're going to walk it back. Okay, walk forward. More?
Yeah, one more.
Okay. Up, up. Forward.
Nice. High five. Okay, JP, what are we going to do?
All right, so I'm going to break down what we call toes to bar to basics. So first breaking down the movement and then we're going to piece it together. So I'll show you what to do and then you're going to try after that. 100%. So I prefer to use a step for this. So first thing, we're just going to hang there for 5 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then back down. Okay. Now you can try.
That looks easy enough.
Yeah. So we're going to try and keep the feet together and try and stay in like a hollow position.
Okay.
Yes.
This.
Nice.
3.
She makes it look easier.
5. Okay.
Nice. Okay, now next up, we're just going to do an activation on that. So we're going to hang, and we call this a scap pull-up. So keep the feet together, just slow and controlled. Just do 3 of them.
See, it's getting difficult.
No, not at all.
Okay. So where should this
so your
happen?
arms remain straight, so you're just basically squeezing at the back.
Like this?
Yes, just like that.
Okay.
It's more an activation than anything else.
Okay.
Okay, so next, we're going to do what we call a kip swing. So we're going to use our shoulders and press ourselves in 2 positions. So one will be in that position, and I'm going to pull to get into that position. Okay, let's look at that. So I'm going to start slow, I'm going to just hang. So push, pull. So we call this kip swings.
Okay.
So it's all in the shoulders. Let's try 3, 4, 5.
Because usually people think you should swing with your legs.
Legs, no, it's all in the shoulders. So think of pushing yourself away from the bar and then pulling yourself through the bar.
Okay.
Yes. All shoulders and hands, of course.
Yeah, I feel the hands.
Okay, so now you've noticed when your feet's backwards, your head through the shoulders in front. And once you get into this position, your legs come forward. So now we're just going to add a knee tuck. Okay, so we got 1 kip, second one tuck, kip, tuck.
Okay.
Okay, let's try.
Okay, so just normal and then
knee
tuck.
tuck. Yes.
Ooh.
So as soon as the legs drop, they have to go backwards and the head forwards. 100%.
Ooh. Feel like I can't get into the rhythm.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so now let's just look at the knee tuck. So we're going to do 3 raises. One's hip height, one's chest height, and one's elbows.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so it will go higher. Let's try. So I go hips, chest, elbows.
Okay.
gonna
You
try.
make that look very easy. I don't think it's going to be that
Let's
easy.
see. So what you could remember is to keep the activeness in the shoulders.
Okay.
And as you press up or on the bar, you're going to look up. Okay.
Okay,
Up,
look up.
and then back through.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So just
First a small one,
small,
and a bigger one,
go on.
and a bigger one. Nice. Okay, so the knees to elbow is really difficult, but if you can get the knees to touch it, the toes to bar become really easy. Now let's look at the toes to bar itself.
Okay.
So if I get my knees up, I can just flick my legs. So there's up, flick, flick. Or you can go straight legs. But what's important is I press and then I raise my legs. And as soon as they drop, they go backwards and they stay together and my head pushes through my shoulders in front.
Okay.
Okay, your turn.
Woo.
I'm sure you can try 3 of them.
Ah, okay. Okay, so it's not, I should not be getting a lot of momentum. I should be working
Yeah, so it's on the
upper
shoulders. So
body.
press, pull, like a car's boot that you're throwing close and ripping apart.
Oh, that's a good example. Okay, done that
Yeah.
before. Let's see. Okay. Okay, can I just start small again?
Yes,
Okay. Okay. Wah!
yes, go.
What?
Yes, nice.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
so now you feel how it's tough on your shoulders. You feel like now you're losing tension.
And I can feel I lose momentum.
Yeah, so it's a lot of, it takes a lot of practice and consistency to get to that point.
Yeah, I think I should do a bit more of the simpler ones before I...
But like you can see, like you can simplify it to a certain point where it suits your level and you can adjust it from there.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraita. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
All right,
What's next?
we're going to look at some squats. So like I mentioned, I had a recent knee injury, so I'm limited in certain aspects. So I'm going to show you what happens if you can't do a full range squat, which looks like this. She's going to show us one.
Oh wow, okay. Putting me
Yeah.
on the spot.
Yeah. So basically your hips go through the 90s. It covers your knees right through the bottom. So we would call this breaking up the squats into different positions. We can have like a 2-inch squat, which is just a baby drive. So it looks like that, 2 inches. It looks like nothing really. But for each one, the levels are different in their fitness. Okay, so if you didn't train for years or you have very health issues and all of that, we start with a basic 2-inch squat. Then eventually we can go 4 inches, which is slightly lower. It's still above 90 degrees. Okay, we can go a little deeper. Eventually we can go 6 inches, which is a 90-degree squat. So you can build up from that process and not always do the full range thing. What if I cannot do this?
Yeah.
But what if you can?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a basic movement. We call it an air squat. So it transfers over to so many other things. If you sit on a chair and you stand up, if you lie in bed and you sit up straight, you have to stand up. So most basic thing would be an air squat. So we can't really skip doing them.
I've heard many people, I don't know, are your feet, I know your knees are not supposed to go.
Yeah. So what we're looking in is there's a couple of points of performance we look at when we do this. One of them, which is knees track toes. What that means is the knees goes in line with the toes. So you don't stand really with straight feet. Obviously you get different types of squats here and there, but most times, even if it's a loaded squat with a barbell, you would turn your feet out slightly to the outside. Now as you go down, your hips will ascend backwards and straight down, and the knees will go out into the squat. So we don't want to let them cave in for the sake of safety. So you drive them out 100%.
Yeah. And your upper body, are you supposed to?
Yeah, so the upper body, we have also what we call the midline point. So we don't want to lean too much forwards, backwards. So if I can show you over here, some people have a tendency to do what we call a good morning when they squat. So they lean over forwards because of hip restrictions and all of that. So you would face a wall, and I would make you go down, and as soon as you go forward, you would hit your head.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would help you to stay upright, because if I give you a barbell and you load it up and you squat like that, you're taking the weight away from your midline, and that can cause a lot of issues like injuries on your back.
Yeah.
You can hurt yourself really badly. You have no control over the weight and all of that. So obviously there's different ways we
And with
attack
the
this.
bar, you can obviously do a back or a front.
Front, and there's overhead squats.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. Yeah, there's various, like thousands of variations on squats and all of that. But always you get back to the basic one. If you have the basic points of performance on the air squat or the bodyweight squat, then it transfers over to the other squats. So if you stay upright here and you load a bar in front, automatically it will help you. Obviously it's a different challenge once you load it in front, but you have to get the basics first.
And when you guys do this with people that aren't as experienced, then you usually do with an empty barbell?
So what we would have a PVC pump. I'll show you how that looks. So this is the teacher. So this would be the beginning point, and we would start all squats from this point. Like here's a front squat, for example. Okay, so if you can handle this, it doesn't look like much, but trust me, it's heavy. It's like a lot of kilos. Then we have a trainer bar. It looks like this. So it's 8 kilos. So that will be the second step. And then we have bigger bars. These would be 15 and those 20. So there's a progressive loading phase where we can, certain things will take longer than others.
And you also do a little bit help with nutrition, people
Yes.
like all around help?
Yes, 100%. So we have basically 3 coaches on board, which have done an extra nutritional courses, and they usually give more guidance to our members, in-house members. I'm sure even non-members would also get assistance if they do make contact. So we do offer those services 100%.
Okay, thank you so much for
Okay.
this very fun and informative visit.
Yeah,
And good luck
100%.
with all your events and throwdowns.
Thank you
along
very much.
The way.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for joining us in today's episode. Goodbye from me and JP and the whole Flex team.